Good morning, guys. Thanks for tuning in to City Girl Gardening. I am Dee, your City Girl Gardener, and I'm out this morning because I do have quite a few things that I need to get done in the garden. And I want you guys to join me as I add 2 new garden beds to the garden. I ordered them this past weekend and they were delivered yesterday. I got them put together yesterday, and so we're going to get them moved and set up in the garden. Not only that, the bed that I sowed the bok choy and carrots in, those seeds have germinated and I need to thin them out. I also need to thin out my bed that I have the turnip greens and turnips in, as well as the radishes and some of my sugar daddy snap peas. I need to get those thinned out as well. And I am going to move a plant, well, 2 of my plants around in the garden. I'm going to put them in different beds. I had some of the white moth eggs and worms to eat up a few of the crops, so it left some empty spaces in some of the beds. So I want to get some of those crops moved. I've picked off all the worms. I have sprayed with a neem oil concentrate, and I'm going to get those crops in my garden situated and wait for my tool covering for my hoops to come so that I can cover my beds to keep and protect them from the bugs. But join me today as I complete a lot of my garden chores that I've set aside for today. City Girl Gardening. All right, guys. Oh, I thought my video had cut off. But all right, guys, I am done with getting the 2 new additions over to the garden. Once you guys see I come back, you'll see that I have filled the beds with, I'm putting some wood shavings down in the bottom to kind of fill up some of that space. I have some raised garden bed soil, as well as some of my black cow manure, still in bags, sitting out on our driveway. And I'm going to bring them back, get these beds filled up. I thinned out this bed. I thinned out the turnip greens as well as the radishes, and I put them down into this pot. I stepped off camera shortly and went to the side of the house in the garden raised bed where I had the bok choy and carrots planted. I thinned those out as well. Put the plants that germinated, and it's crazy because I had such a great rate of germination with those seeds. So what I am going to do, these will not go to waste. I will see if I can put some of them in different places in the garden, because that is a lot of plants. That's a lot of food to be wasted. But it all is not going to go to waste, because I am going to give the bok choy as well as some of the radish seedlings, as well as some of the turnip seedlings. I am going to give them to the chicks. They will love this as a treat. I thank you guys for tuning in to City Girl Gardening. And again, when I come back, the garden raised beds that I've added, they will be filled. I don't know how or what I'm going to plant into them, but I'm pretty sure I can find something to do with them. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel at City Girl Gardening 803. Join me on Facebook, City Girl Gardening. look for the pink logo. I do have a picture of my garden and a few pictures of me out fishing, and just a few pictures of me just so you guys can identify me. Go to my Facebook page, City Girl Gardening, like, share, comment, give me some feedback. Follow me along on my garden journey to my crops as well as to my hens. Thank you guys for your support, and I will see you guys later. All right, guys, I was gonna do this off camera. However, when I looked at my time-lapse video of me working out in the garden, the video wasn't long enough for me, and then I didn't have some of the things that I wanted to share with you guys. I didn't have it in the video. So what I am showing you now is the small raised bed. The garden bed that I purchased, it was a garden bed. It was a set of 2 garden beds that were going to be about 5 feet by 2 feet. But what I did was I combined the 2, making this one here, which to me, I think it's about 8 feet. So I think this one, I made this one 8 by 2. And then I kept this, I made this small one, and this one is just basically about a 2 by 2, basically. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and fill my little one because I do have enough soil. As I stated before, on the driveway, I had some black cow manure as well as some garden raised bed soil. I have my pine shavings that I also use in the all right, guys, I have finished this bed. As you can see here, I have filled it up, and I added a trellis to it. I removed the trellis from the bed over here, and I just planted a pot inside the middle and put a marigold down in it. I do want to start adding flowers to my vegetable beds. However, I don't want the roots of some of the flowers to get intertwined in with the roots of my vegetables. And some of the flowers that I want to plant, I know that they can become invasive, meaning they can take over a bed, and I don't want them to do that. So I have put pots down in some of the beds. Not only did I remove the trellis from that bed over to my new addition, I pulled up the trellis that was here in this 4 by 2 bed, and I placed it over into the yellow bed. There was a previous trellis in the yellow bed that was a little bit smaller. I pulled that up 2 weeks or so ago, and I put it over in the bed with the turnips and the radishes and the sugar daddy peas that I planted so that they could vine up that trellis. I did that, but now that I have the new addition that is back there, I started putting some of the cardboard into this bed, but I ended up pulling it out of this bed, put it over in the bottom of this bed, put down my wood shavings, poured a pot of existing soil I already had, and then I put some cow manure, and I put a fresh bag of the raised garden bed soil in there. But I'm gonna get the cardboard into this bed a little bit later this evening, put a few of the wood shavings down inside, and I will begin to fill that up with some of the pre-existing soil that I had from previous pots of things that I potted up and were growing out of pots. I'm going to put that soil in, and then I'm going to put some more manure in this bed, and then I'm going to fill it up the remainder of the way with some fresh soil. This is Dee, your City Girl Gardener. I'm going to come out and let you guys see the full garden over here. You can still see that I have my black mineral cow manure buckets, and my squash are continuing to grow, the different varieties there. I have my planters, my yellow bed with the trellis, bigger trellis, and I have 3 more planters there. This is the new addition. This is a 7x2 bed. I made this into a 8x2 bed and made this into a kind of a 2x1.5, 2x2 almost in this bed. But this is the garden. My next project that I am going to be working on is the Cow Mineral buckets. I would like to get 8 of the round planters to go there along the fence line. I may end up doing maybe 3 round on the end and then doing a maybe a 2x2 or something here. Might be a 4x2 in the middle, and then have 3 planters on the outsides of each. But I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't figured it out because I have my vision, and so I know that I'm not going to stop adding and taking away things until my vision is complete. But those are the mineral buckets with the manure, with the different varieties of squash. And then over here, this is the bed that I thinned out those seeds for my bok choy. You can see there, then I have a few little carrots that are sprouting. You can barely see them on camera, but they're in there. I'm gonna keep this bed here, but with the peppers bed, you can see my peppers, how they're looking. Look at that. Nice peppers. Beautiful green color. Still have nice peppers growing. All the peppers in this bed that are growing still here. I'm gonna let them grow, as I stated in a previous video, until it gets cold and they are not gonna grow anymore. I am gonna pull them up. I may winter them and put them back out next spring, but I'm not quite sure. But I do know that with this bed, I'm either going to slide this bed down to touch this bed, or I'm gonna remove this bed completely. We're gonna be getting some new windows put into our house, and this bed is directly under our kitchen window here, and I don't want it to be in the way, and I don't want anything to fall over into the bed, into my soil, contaminate my soil, and I just don't want the hazard or the burden of the bed being here. So I'm either going to slide this bed down, as I stated before, or I am just going to remove this bed completely. Right now I'm just going to think a little bit more on for sure what I want to do with this bed, but there's going to be some changes to the side of the house shortly, so I'm not sure. But this is the other view of the garden. When you come in, you can see my Cow Mineral buckets. You can see the 2 brown beds that are there on the side. You can see my coop back there with my girls in it, and you can see my garden. I have the 5-gallon buckets here. Those have fruit trees in it. They're a year old. I only got about 5 raspberry and maybe about 3 or 4 blueberries that grew on them, but I do want to get those out of the buckets and get them over into my big buckets here with fresh soil, fertilizer, and get those things, get them covered and winterized and placed somewhere around the garden. But this is Dee. I am going inside from the garden. It is gotten to be pretty warm out. I've been out here since early part of this morning, and I'm gonna get cleaned up and get me some lunch, get something to drink, and I may come back out a little bit later today since my son Peyton does not have Pee Wee football practice today. They had a game yesterday and they won, and their coach gave them today off. So I may come back a little bit later this evening to finish doing some things that I want to just do in the garden, try some things, move some things around, flip some soil in some of the beds that are still cleaned out and that don't have anything in them. But we're going to see. Again, I'm Dee, your City Girl Gardener. Thanks for tuning in, and bye-bye.